So let's go through in terms of what Hutao's talents are. So we have few skills. So her bread and butter will be her guide to the afterlife, which is an elemental skill, which is the E skill. Spirit Soother is an elemental burst, which does healing itself. And this is her normal attack, Secret Spear of Bangsheng. So this is just her normal attack itself. So I have her talents up to level 5 only, and she's doing quite a ton of damage, which is about her charge attack is about 176%. So it's actually very, very high. So that's why I say her damage lies in her charge attack itself. So if you go to the guide to the afterlife, so basically she uses her skill, and then she loses 30% of her current health right now, and then she'll change all her damage into pyro damage for about 9 seconds, and she has a cooldown of about 7 seconds. So she has a 7 seconds downtime for cooldown. Because cooldown is about 16 seconds, so you have 7 seconds before you actually can reuse the elemental skill again. So need to note off that Hutao's attack is based off of her max HP. So you want to stack as much health as possible. You shouldn't be focusing on attack damage, and I'll tell you why later. But yes, in essence you should be stacking HP on her. Yeah. So there's one part will be changing everything into pyro damage. The second part will be Blood Blossom. So Blood Blossom is basically a constant proc of damage. For constant proc of damage when you apply it. So as you see, sometimes when I attack some enemies, there's gonna be a flower. So if I'm gonna show you right now, let me go and beat up a relic Rune Garden for you to be able to see. Yeah. Oh, hey, ciao Arash. So actually we don't need to beat up a bunch of monsters. Here we put his shield because he's on 550 health. So when you use E, it takes about 30% of your current health. So you attack, you see that there's like this how to say a flower, which is basically her Blood Blossom. So as you can see just now, the Blood Blossom did 15,000 damage, and there wasn't any vaporize or any melt proc. Reason being is because the Blood Blossom itself, it deals pyro damage. So when it deals pyro damage, it can still critical hit, and it can still apply elemental reaction. Yeah, so she can still apply elemental reaction using the Blood Blossom. So Blood Blossom, if you read, it will only deal pyro damage every 4 seconds, and the whole duration of Blood Blossom is about 8 seconds. So basically, in one instance, you can able to have 2 damage itself, two procs of pyro damage itself in 8 seconds itself. Yeah. So what normally we would normally do is, as a Hutao player, it would be you E, you hit, you start fighting, and then at the last second before everything goes, you do a charge attack, so that you will apply the Blood Blossom. So while you apply the Blood Blossom itself, it will deal 8 seconds worth of damage, doing 8 seconds of you have 8 seconds for the Blood Blossom to deal damage, which is 4 seconds each. So that means you'll be dealing passive damage for 2 times for 8 seconds. So if you take 9 seconds, you plus 8 seconds, it's about 17 seconds, which actually covers her cooldown itself. So what happens is, like, normally Hutao, you will expect her to fall off like Chao when he stopped using his elemental burst or elemental skill already. Chao will be Tartaglia. So once you proc the Blood Blossom itself, you still have constant damage during the 9 seconds downtime, the 7 seconds downtime to the cooldown itself. So during that duration, you can actually swap out to another character to use other skills to, you know, come in to fight. So she works very, very well with Tartaglia, because Tartaglia uses the same mechanics where he uses elemental skill, and then he fight, and then later he will then switch back, and then he'll switch out to another character, because his cooldown will be based on how long he used elemental skill on. But for Hutao's case, it's based on a 16-second cooldown. Okay, I'll explain to you why her kits revolves around burst damage and swapping of characters. So the next skill we're going to talk about will be Spirit Soother, which is her elemental burst. So this elemental burst basically uses the ghost that she summons, and she uses the ghost to hit enemies. So the skill damage should deal about 300% at level 4, and then low HP skill damage should deal about 454%. So when it's low HP, it will be around, if I'm not wrong, 30%, if I'm not wrong, or below 50%. she'll be able to proc this additional damage itself. So skill HP regeneration. So skill HP regeneration means that any time the elemental burst hits a target, it will generate you 7.5% of her max HP. Her max HP currently is at 35,000, so 7.5% of 35,000 will be the healing that she's gonna be receiving. Okay. So back to it, and if she's under low HP, her skill regeneration will be about 10% for maximum health. So based on it will be 50%. So below 50%, if she uses it, and then she'll be able to regenerate 10% of max HP. So do note that this actually works on all the enemies. So any hit will generate you HP. So what happens is you can only hit up to 5 enemies. So basically, in this case, let's say if you're under low HP skill regeneration and you hit more than 5 enemies, you only generate the max of 50% maximum HP. No matter how many enemies is next to you, 10 people, 100, 10, 11 mobs itself, and use your elemental burst, you will still only generate 5 monsters worth of max HP. Cooldown is about 50 seconds and the energy cost about 60. So you don't really need to worry about this cost. She's actually quite self-sufficient in my opinion. So yeah. So this is just a skill. So if I were to show you how it would look like, let me heal up first. Cause I don't want to get trashed around. So yeah. So let's go and see. Let's rack up our energy bar. And then we'll be able to see how the damage that she's gonna deal. So we're just gonna try it on some Helitros. Oh. No, I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, see, you get elemental particles. You receive elemental particles. So yeah. So let me recharge the burst for you. Oh, I'm very close to what you call that. Use. See, my health is low, and I do a hit, 2 hits, I'll regenerate 20% of my maximum health already, and I did a low skill damage itself. So yeah, so as you can see, that's the elemental burst for Hutao. Okay, so if you go down the list itself, we have her first passive, her first ascension. You will do something called Flutterby. It's called Flutterby. So when Pyramidal Papillus states activated by Guide to Afterlife ends, all allies in the party, excluding Hutao herself, will have the critical rate increased by 12% for 8 seconds. So essentially, Guide to the Afterlife, when the duration of Guide to the Afterlife is over, all the other members other than her will have a 12% increase in critical rate, which means that your other characters benefit from this critical rate other than Hutao, which means you need to switch her out for switch Hutao out for another character to deal damage for 8 seconds, and then later you switch her back again. Okay, so this is how, that's why Hutao works in terms of swapping. Sanguine Rose, Ascension 4 if I'm not wrong, which is about level 80. So when Hutao HP is equal to or less than 50%, her pyro damage bonus is increased by a whooping 33%. So this amount is very huge. 33% pyro damage is very huge for her, especially because she's dealing a lot of pyro damage itself. So yeah, you want to keep her lower than 50%, but most of the time you'll be keeping her alive more lower than 50%. So the more the merrier, which is her passive talent. When she cooks a dish perfectly, she has an 18% chance to receive an additional suspicious dish of the same type. So a suspicious dish would give you less benefit. So if you look at the food that I have right now, I made a suspicious jade parcel, so 224, critical rate by 6%, but the original is 320 and critical rate is about 10%. So yeah, she does create some suspicious dishes if you like suspicious dishes. So yes, anyways, yeah, let's move on to Constellation. So if you want to know a bit more why I would say a Constellation C1 and C2 and C3 Constellation, I think will be the best you want to go. Any other than that, it won't be worth it anymore. Crimson Bouquet, as like what I said before, Hutao charge attack do not consume stamina, which is very good because most of her damage dealing comes from her charge attacks. Then Ominous Rainfall, which is taking 10% of Hutao's max HP as additional damage. So basically, I'm critting about like, existingly I'm dealing 4,000 damage, but I'm getting another 3.5k on top because I have 35,000 health. And the third one will be increasing the Guide to the Afterlife by 3. So Guide to the Afterlife is a bread and butter, which is elemental skill. So by increasing it by 3 levels, the conversion rate will be higher. So it will be better. So anything other than that, I would not suggest you to go and get it. So yeah, the fourth one will be Garden of Eternal Rest. Upon defeating an enemy affected by Blood Blossom, the Hutao applies itself. All nearby allies in the party will have a crit rate increased by 12% for 15 seconds. So basically, other characters can benefit from the 12% from her Ascension plus this one, which 24% extra critical rate itself. So yeah, but she won't benefit from this. The fifth constellation will be a Spirit Soother increased by 3 levels, and the last one will be Undying, Butterfly Embrace. So when Hutao's HP drops below 25% or takes a lethal strike, she will not die for the next 10 seconds. So for the next 10 seconds, she will have her elemental physical resistance increased by 200%, her critical rates increased by 100%, and her resistance to interruptions greatly increased. So this effect triggers automatically when Hutao has 1 HP left. So it's cooldown, there's an internal cooldown about 60 seconds. So this is actually a quality of life thing. Like just now I accidentally died. So if you accidentally died, if you have this, then you won't accidentally die. So yeah. So this is C6 itself. That's about it. Talents. Okay, talents. What you need to focus? The first thing you need to focus is you need to focus her elemental skill if you're going for DPS itself. Second one will be her normal attack, and the last one will be Spirit Soother, her elemental burst. But if you're using her as a burst support itself, you should max Spirit Soother. Max Spirit Soother, Guide to the Afterlife, and then lastly would be the normal attack. So that's a combination. But if you're playing her as a support, you would then, as usual, put Noblesse Oblige. That will be too good to miss out on. So that's about it. Yeah. How itself. So let's go through the basics of her. How you should utilize her attack pattern. So what I realized that Hutao heavily relies upon her charge attack. So whenever you do a charge attack, you consume stamina. So you can do about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and about 9 to 10 charge attacks in one stamina bar if you have it full. So optimally, I would say Constellation 1 and Constellation 2 Hutao is actually very strong. It's like the C6 for other characters that totally makes the character broken. This is the two of them. Why so? It's because C1 Constellation Hutao actually when they do charge, it doesn't consume stamina when she uses her E skill. So that makes her strong, and also it deals 10. So C2 deals 10% of Hutao's max HP when the Blood Blossom proc. So actually you proc 2 times in the whole 8 seconds duration. It will deal about 10% of the Hutao's HP, and it can crit. That's the most important part of it. Okay, Hutao. Cute. So yeah, so as I was saying, so the charge, the damage actually heavily relies upon her charge attacks itself. So let me demonstrate for you. I feel that her normal attack damage is quite normal. It's not super powerful, but her charge attacks is where it lies. So it's 8,000. 19,000, but it uses a lot of stamina. So yeah, that's the downside of it. And this heals. Yep. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, if you're fighting a group of monsters, you're gonna be consistently pressing shift because you're trying to dodge the skills to get the iframe in. So what I would do to make sure, if you want to make sure that you have enough stamina to do your charge attack, so what happens is that Hutao does 6 combos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's the last hit. So what happens is on the 4th combo, you hold down your mouse button or hold down your attack button in PS4 for you to do a charge attack. So you see, let's say I use my charge attack right now. I lose the stamina bar, so I'm waiting for it to regen. So I'm going to do it 2 times to see. Let's say I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I charge attack. I basically don't lose stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then charge attack. So basically her combo, if you want to be efficient with your stamina bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you dash. So you get your full stamina bar back when you're proccing when you're doing damage itself. So, or if you want it to be quick, you can always hit and charge, hit and charge, hit and charge. But you have to aim it properly, because sometimes what Hutao does is that it will aim in the direction where you're facing rather than the character, rather than the monster, when it has a certain distance away from it. So that's very important fact for you to know when you're playing Hutao. So normally it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 smash and you gain stamina, or you 1, 2, 3 and you charge, or you can always 1, 2, 3, 4 and slam and then you charge. But the fifth one's a bit slow. There's like a small delay. Only you'll be able to charge. So you 1, 2, 3, 4 and you straight away charge. You don't have the delay of the fifth, so it's much better to be doing on the fourth or the third. So 1, 2, 3 and then charge, or 1, 2, 3, 4 and then you charge, or 1 charge. So that's normally how you play her if you want to do a lot of damage in a short window of time and without losing your stamina. So that's just my advice. Another thing to note about Hutao is that you can actually cancel her animation. So let's say if I go and beat up some monsters for you. Let me try and get a monster for you to beat up, to beat up. So game woman. So I'm gonna go down there and beat up a bunch of monsters for you. Yeah. So what's gonna happen is that you can actually cancel her attack animation when she's charging, but you have to make sure that the damage already hits. So example will be I hit and then I jump, hit, so hit and then, so if you don't, so you have to see the damage actually hits before you can actually jump. So if you jump straight away, the damage won't land. And only way, yeah. So when you, oh, I'm dying, shit. So yes, and then we'll get to the very important point of why Hutao is very important. It needs a shield because of her low survivability, because she's always on low health itself. So effectively what people have said is that her effective health pool is 50%. So you want to make sure your health pool is more than 20,000 so you don't get blasted by mobs so fast. So yeah, so as I was saying, when you do a charge attack, you can do a cancellation for her. So like hit, I can jump, hit and I jump. So you see that particular arrow has to touch something, and you have like the cue of her arrow, her spear hits something, and then you can jump already, so that you can save the time for you to, instead of you dashing a super long distance by about 1 second or 0.5 seconds. So normally you need charge and jump for you to cancel. So normally you do halfway, so you can consistently do that. So essentially your output of damage using the charge attack would be very fast, you doing that. So if you're on C1 Hutao, charge and hit, you have to make sure that the damage actually procs already before you actually start jumping, because if the damage doesn't hit and while you jump, the damage doesn't get calculated inside the game itself. So what you need to do is that you have to make sure that the cue, the sound hits only before you jump, so you can do a cancellation from there itself. So same goes for a normal combo. You can hit, jump like Klee previously, but her charge attacks can be cancelled very easily using jumping. So jumping would be your your lifesaver. Yeah. Yep. So the next thing that we want to talk about would be what are the artifacts that's good for Hutao. So there is 4 things that we are gonna look at right now, which is the one of them, the best option in my opinion would be the Crimson Witch of Flame. So this will be rank number 1. So you want to have a 4 set Crimson Witch of Flame set, because of the pyro damage bonus, which is good. And I know that a lot of people say that, yeah, she doesn't really fully utilize the set bonuses, it would be better to use other things. But in my opinion, after looking at the damage calculations that I've seen before, this is still very good, because essentially it deals additional overload. If you're going to use an electric character with her, you will deal overload damage by 40%, and at the same time the best part about it is because vaporize and melt damage increased by 15%. Imagine you're quitting 20,000 already and you gain another 15% from that. It's gonna be a huge amount. And also when she uses her elemental skill, so basically her E skill, for one set bonus will give you a 50% extra pyro bonus damage. So essentially what happens is that her damage will be her pyro damage after elemental skill will be 22.5%, because if you take 15% and you multiply by 1.5%, it will be 22.5%. So it essentially gives her a boost about 7%, 7.5% damage. So yeah, so 7.5% pyro damage. So Crimson Witch of Flame still will be the best slot in my opinion. So the second set that I will look at would be Retractive Bolide. So this is actually much more of a set that people will be asking, but it's actually for a geo character, it increases shield strength and stuff. But I would say that this set will be better will be as good as the Crimson Witch of Flame set if you have a shield team comp, because first it will have shield increased by 35%, and at the same time also at the 4-piece set, while you're protected by a shield, you gain additional 40% normal and charge attack damage. So this combination is something similar to Gladiator, but do understand that normal attack doesn't cover charge attack. So her charge attack, which I said before, deals the most deals the most damage. So you have to weave in between her charge attacks if you don't have C1 for Hutao. So that's why charge attack damage would really benefit her at 40%. Imagine I was critting 19,000 just now and I get another 40% up. Another 40% from that, it will be humongous in terms of the damage itself. So that's why this would be the second set, which is I would recommend for her. But I would still recommend Crimson Witch, because Crimson Witch can be used for many pyro characters, whereas Retractive Volite is much more a very niche pick if you have a shield character. Okay, so my third set that I would recommend would be Gladiator set. So yes, I understand. Yes, pyro, like what I said before, like yes, Hutao has a very low base attack damage. That's why you don't benefit a lot in terms of attack percentage increase. I understand that. So, but then it's still an increase in attack, which is low, but then it still give you an increase in in a little bit of attack. So this set you will only use in circumstances that you don't have any other good artifacts that's good rolls. So you would use you will use this set. But if you get, it would be better for you to use 4-piece set for Gladiator's Finale rather than like a 2-piece set for Gladiator's Finale, because you are a prom user and you benefit from the normal attack damage by 35%. So normal attack damage is basically her this one. So this is normal attack damage. So you gain 35% increase in the normal attack damage. But then let's see, if you get Retracting Bolide, you will deal, your charge attack will deal extra 40% damage. So this is your charge attack, which you need to hold your button in, and this is a normal attack. So you give you 40% extra damage from your normal attack itself. Okay. So, and the last set that I would recommend, actually I won't really strongly recommend, but then if you're a person that don't like to go with mainstream, Thundering Fury would be a good set. So a lot of people have said that, oh, maybe Thundering Fury might be suitable for Hutao because there's about 7 seconds downtime in terms of elemental skill. So let's say if you have an Electro team comp, maybe you have official, so you are consistently proccing Pyro and Electro together, you reduce elemental cooldowns by 1 second. So maybe for my experiment, I think you only lower about 4 seconds of it, because of how the internal cooldown works in terms of overload. So about 4 seconds reduced, so you have about 4 seconds of about 3 seconds before you're actually able to use the elemental skill again for Hutao using Electrocom and Pyro together. My voice is cracking. Give me a moment, guys. So this is a meme set. This is for people who are hipsters, you will want to go for Thundering Fury. So my artifacts currently are Gladiator's Finale and Crimson Witch of Flame. So why is it 2-piece set? This is actually very shitty, because Crimson Witch is giving me a lot of bonus, but then Gladiator is not giving a lot. So why? It's because I don't have any other artifacts for her. I spent a lot of my time farming for Xiao last month, so then I didn't have really much of the time to really farm for Crimson Witch. So if you look at my artifacts, you want to ask me, attack percentage or HP percentage better? So HP percentage is way better than attack percentage. I'll give you the calculations later, I'll show it to you. But what you want to do is you want to have critical damage, critical rate, and HP. So you want to classify critical damage as the first choice, critical rate as the second choice. Give me a moment. Let me give artifact. Critical rate as the second choice, and also then the third choice will be HP percentage. That would be the best combination itself. So you want to stack as much health on her as possible due to elemental skill, which converts her HP, her total HP pool, which is at my one is at 35,000, taking a percentage of it as raw attack damage itself. So yeah, this is my artifact. Not really good. Critical damage 80%, HP 9.3%. Not good to have attack percentage. You want to get as much HP as possible. Supposedly it would be better to get elemental. You get a critical rate here to be better. So flower you always be HP, feather will always be attack, but the sense you want to go for HP. You don't want to go for attack, you want to go for HP. Okay, so if you all guys are free to play players, or people who are just starting out in Genshin itself, very strongly note is you don't need to have perfect substats. It was much more important for you to have good main stats for your character. So in this case, Hutao's main stat needed will be HP, so 46.6%. And you want to have a pyro damage goblet, definitely pyro damage goblet, no other things that you can get for. And the last one, you can balance out within whether you have enough critical rate and also critical damage itself. So the combination for critical rate and critical damage is basically 2 to 1. So basically, if you have 200 critical damage, you want to have 100% critical rate itself. So that's the thing. But you can leave it at 50%. I still feel 50% is still doable. I don't think 100% is needed, but people say that 200 to 2 to 1 aspect ratio will be the best. Okay, yeah. And like if you have a very good substat HP percentage, you can, if you have a very good substat critical rate hat, you can go for a HP hat here, because you will need critical rate itself. So yeah, so TLDR, too long didn't read. HP Sense, Pyro Goblet, Circlet, you can go critical rate, critical damage, or HP depending on what you like. Okay, so this is how Hutao is shown like. So currently my attributes right now, it's about 50% critical rate and critical damage of 200%. Energy recharge, pyro damage 94.6, because I'm currently benefiting from a 33% pyro damage bonus from what's the thing called, from her Ascension talent itself. So yeah, this is just how my Hutao is. It's not the best yet. I'm trying to mini-max her, but
how you look so precious when you smile.
Yes. Cute. That's why Hutao's a 5-star, guys. Pull her. People compare why Diluc and Hutao, which is the better pyro damage dealer. Hutao is better because she can do a dance. Diluc is just grumpy. But yeah, anyways, yeah. Let's move on. Weapons. Yeah, I forgot about weapons. So her best weapon, best in slot BIS would be Staff of Homa, no doubt. Critical damage substat, and also it gives you increase in HP, and also at the same time also provide you attack bonus by how much of the HP that she has. Okay, as you can read here. But if you want to look at a free-to-play perspective, Deathmatch would be a very good item. I mean, the damage falls off a bit from a Staff of Homa because of the base attack, but it's still a very good stuff because it increases the defense by 20%. So when you have more than 2 people around, so essentially what happens is that you will not die faster when you get crowded by a bunch of mobs. The attack increase is not that much. This is refinement rank 2, so refinement rank 1 I can't remember the amount, but then attack is increased by 30%. So this attack doesn't really benefit you a lot, but more of this item here is for you to get due to its critical rate substats, which you might like, because her Ascension uses critical damage. When she levels up and every time she moves into Ascension, she has increase in critical damage, so you need critical rate to look after that area. Another alternative would be using, so the craftable weapons, the Present Pipe, Prototype Grudge, and also the Regazance here is all bullshit. You don't use any of the items from there. It's actually legit not useful for her at all, because Crescent Pipe and also Dragon Science here increases physical damage bonus, and also if I'm not wrong, the Prototype Grudge, if I'm looking at the items and see, it goes by Elemental Mastery or Elemental or goes by Elemental Mastery, or going by, what's the word called, Energy Recharge. I can't remember either one. I don't remember it being attacked anymore. Okay, give me a moment, guys. Walking to there slowly but surely. Butterflies. So yeah, if I like something item made, you can go and see here the spear. Prototype Star Glitter. No, so not Prototype Grudge, sorry. It's called Prototype Star Glitter, which is energy recharge. Yeah, I'm correct. So it gives you energy recharge, which is something that you don't need unless you're playing her as a support. Increase attack damage by 8% for 12 seconds. Max 2 stacks about 16% damage, which is good for her because you use elemental skill. But I think you only benefit for you only get the benefit for 1. This is like the free to play option. If you want, so this is, but I won't recommend it still. The best free to play weapon in my opinion would still be the Deathmatch, and the other one, another good alternative would be Dragon's Bane. So Dragon's Bane is good if you're gonna have Xingqiu on your team, because essentially the subsets are Elemental Mastery. So Elemental Mastery gives you harder hitting vape procs. So this is actually quite good for Hutao, and also Sorry, the skill description will be increase damage against opponents affected by Hydro and Pyro by 20%. So you're consistently dealing Pyro, and also if you have Xingqiu to proc vape itself, you will always have 20% extra bonus itself from the damage. I think the next another good one would be, I don't know whether I can see the weapons or not, but let me see. Another good equipment that you can have would be the Black Cleave Pole. God damn, I can't see it. But anyways, the Black Cleave Pole substats is actually if I go here, if I go to Ganyu, the substats is actually critical damage. So as you can see here, so critical damage is always good. So it's good to give her extra critical damage, but you will need maybe a critical rate circlet in this case itself if you don't have enough critical rate. So this actually, the passive don't really give you a lot of things, but the substats is what makes it quite good for her, because if you have a Black Cleave spear, you will still have the same critical damage itself. So yeah, and the stats is the same. Increase attack by 12%. Attack increase doesn't benefit Hutao at all. Doesn't benefit her a lot. So yeah. So I think that's about it about Hutao. I've shown you the way you can weave in the combos and stuff. Oh, one more thing about her. Something cool about it is that she can dodge towards enemies. So if I go and show you an enemy that I can dodge, yeah, let's try this one here. Look at an enemy that she can dodge. Okay, let me see. Where am I? Why am I here? What the fuck? I want to be here. Sorry guys, my mistake. So yeah, so if I go and beat up some monsters for you and see, as you can see here, you see I'm moving through the Heliotros. Oh, there's only one character that I know if you shift through, you can move through the monsters. I can shift through them. Use Zhongli, you get stuck. I can dodge through it. So that's something unique about Hutao. Alright? So yeah. So that's how you play. So now the question is, what team comp would you really put for Hutao? It's like for our waifu here. So who will we be putting for? Actually, now so what I would suggest would be the team comps would be here. So my first team comp that I've already prepared would be not Hutao, Xingqiu, Kaeya. I'll explain why Kaeya, and also Zhongli. So if you're not free to play, then I will give you another alternative. You can replace Zhongli with Noelle. So no matter what team comp you do, you must always have a shield character. Alright? So you must always have a shield character in the team with Hutao, because she's very prone to disruption, and also she's very prone to death because of low health itself. If you don't have 40,000 over life, then you should be focusing on the shield character. Even with 40,000 life and above, I would still recommend a shield character. So for my case, I have Zhongli, so I'll be using Zhongli. But if you have other alternatives, you can use a character like Diona for shield, or you can use the person like Noah. I think Noah would be the best for shielding, because her shield can absorb a lot of damage. So Noah will be essential if you don't have Zhongli. So the next combination would be someone like Xingqiu. Reason being is because Xingqiu can proc vape from Hutao. So vaporize deals 1.5 times extra damage. So this is actually very good for Hutao. And Xingqiu is always a good support because it has damage reduction from his E, and also his elemental burst actually deals constant damage once you activate it when you use Hutao to attack. So you will consistently proc vape, and you have Noelle to protect you under circumstances. So the next combination I would like the best would be Kaeya. So in this whole team comp right here, I will call this a burst team comp. Reason being is because you will only deal massive damage when the elemental burst for Xingqiu and Kaeya is on, or when Xingqiu elemental is on and Kaeya is not, or Kaeya's elemental burst is on where Xingqiu's elemental burst is not on. So Noelle is just here for, I would say, defense perspective. So she works really well as a sub DPS also, because if you stack defense on her and you have her on C6, she can work very well as a sub DPS. So yeah, Noelle would be a very great choice in terms of this. So defense, offensive support. So why Kaeya is good? Because if you go into Kaeya, under his talents, let's not look about the other two. He's the bread and butter. The reason why you want Kaya in the team is because of Glacial Waltz. So what happens is like it will deal cryo damage for the duration of about 8 seconds. So which is about the duration the same as Hutao's E. So once you do cryo around, the monsters that are in within melee range will be affected by cryo, and then Hutao is able to proc melt very effectively. so why Xingqiu? As I said before, Xingqiu's elemental skill, which is his elemental burst, Guhua Red Sword Rain Cutter, which is the same, also provides constant damage, but in this case it provides hydro damage, which will cause vaporize if Kaya's elemental burst is down. So that's why Xingqiu is very good, and also damage reduction. So what in the ideal team comp would be, first you use Noel, you shield up, use Xingqiu's elemental burst, and then you use Kaya's elemental burst, elemental skill. So now currently you're surrounding with ice ready, and then use Hutao's E. And you start going ham on everything. So what happens is that when you apply cryo, and then when you apply water on cryo, it will be frozen. So while you're frozen, you use your elemental skill using Hutao, and you hit a frozen enemy, it will still count as vape. It will still count as melt, and melt works it's much more efficiently than vape. Reason being is because the logic behind it is that if you apply cryo and you apply pyro, you deal 2 times the damage. There's a small internal cooldown. But then let's say if you apply pyro and you apply cryo on top, you will only do 1.5 times the damage. So so the combination Xingqiu and Kaya frozen ready, which has crowd control on the enemy, and you just go ham using Hutao itself, because you're always in melee range, so both of them are very good. Noah is just for defensive purposes. Okay, so my next team combination that I would suggest would be Hutao, Chao. Oops, sorry. So the next team will be Hutao, Tartaglia, Xingqiu, and Bennett. So a lot of people say that why Bennett? Well, because in my opinion, because I tried it out already, my Hutao doesn't survive very long, and I don't have Chao right here, so I'm just gonna use a Barbara as a replacement for Chao. Okay. So as I said, Xingqiu is always good with Hutao because of vape. Bennett is just there for elemental resonance for the attack 25%. It doesn't really benefit Hutao because of her low base damage from a character. So but it's still good because you get affected by cryo at 40% less of time, which is reducing your attack speed and also your movement speed itself. So Bennett is just there for healing. So most of the time when Hutao is very low and you want to heal up when you're exploring the world, you just go out and slam Bennett's elemental burst down and you just sit in it, and then you'll be back to full health and you can go again exploring. And let's say why would I use Chao? So I call this team combination as a a glass cannon, because you don't really have shield, so you're very prone to being knocked around if you're not really good at dodging. So if you took in the team, you have Hutao, Tartaglia, Xingqiu, and also Bennett. So under the talents, why Tartaglia is good is because one, it will give you normal attack level increased by 1, which is very beneficial for Hutao, because the higher the normal attack is, the higher damage it deals. Another reason why Tartaglia is a good character to play is because while Hutao's E is on cooldown, you can swap out Tartaglia to deal massive damage. So cause essentially he changed his stuff into hydro damage itself, so you can just consistently proc hydro. You can consistently deal damage on the field. So this is just how I would put this team itself. And because of the double elemental resonance synergy, so double hydro synergy, you will have increase in healing by 30%. So essentially, Hutao's elemental burst will heal, and Bennett's elemental burst will heal more, and Xingqiu's E skill that broke, it will then heal also Hutao more. So everything is funneling between Hutao and also Chao together. So yeah, so that's the combination I would suggest. The next combination I'm thinking free to play would be as usual the banner character. So Hutao, Xingqiu, Chongyun, and also Xiangling. So reason being is because Hutao Chongyun can apply a few where Hutao can attack faster. So the more you attack, the more you attack, the higher the DPS is. So and also at the same time also, let's say if you use Hutao's E, okay, and you finish the 8 seconds, so you're fighting for 8 seconds, 9 seconds, okay, it's over already. So then you want to, physical damage is not that good for late game. So what happens is that you switch into Chongyun, you come out and use elemental burst from Xingqiu, and you start going ham using cryo. So you'll be proccing frozen most of the time if you don't have what's that thing called, if you don't have your elemental skill up. So once Chongyun's E is over, you switch back to Hutao and use her E again, and you go ham again. So this is just how you normally play. And Xiangling is just there for Goba. That's about it. So if you look at Xiangling, Pyronado is good because like you will be able to have a huge damage. You able to have like damage around Hutao. But the best thing why Xiangling is suitable for that is because you have something called Beware at Super Hot. So Beware at Super Hot, once Goba attack effect ends, you will leave a chili pepper, and when it disappears, it will increase attack by 10%. So as I said before, Hutao doesn't benefit a lot in terms of how to say attack, because her base attack damage is very low, but any increase in attack is still good. Even though it's minimal, there's still an increase in attack. So that's why I say Goba is not too bad inside this case. And let's say if you're lucky enough to get, and if you're not lucky in getting Hutao by then, you have like maybe like a C6 maybe C6 Xiangling, you'll be able to have like Pyronado. So when you activate your Pyronado with your elemental burst, you will be able to give 15% pyro damage, so which is very beneficial towards Hutao itself. Yeah, and also you reduce pyro resistance by 15%. So basically you're dealing more damage to the person when Goba attacks, and also at the same time if you have a Pyronado up. So that's why it's good on Hutao. So this is just the free-to-play option that I'm looking at right here. But I think the best, in my opinion, the combination would be Hutao. So my favorite would be Hutao and 2 Geo characters. So in this case, I would be using, for let's say going to free-to-play perspective itself, I would maybe use a character like Noel. So double Geo, 1 Pyro and 1 Hydro. Reason being is because Geo Resonance gives you additional damage by 15%. So this damage 15% works like an elemental damage increase. So it's like the last multiplier before critical. So that means essentially you can think that it's giving you a 15% increase in pyro damage for Hutao, and also at the same time Xingqiu has also a 15% extra damage in terms of what's that thing called, hydro damage. But you need to be protected by a shield in order for you to get it. So that's why you have Noel, which reliably generates shield for you, so you'll always be up. So Xingqiu doesn't benefit it if it's off the field, so only Hutao, which is mostly dealing damage, will be getting like the what's the thing called, getting the benefit of the 50% extra damage, which will be better than the pyro resonance in my opinion. So what normally I would do is, my favorite character right now is I'll put Albedo, and also together with Zhongli, because I have Zhongli, so I'm gonna use him. So there's about 3-5 stars in this team. So it's not very free to play friendly, but the free to play friendly option will be Geo Traveler and also Noel. Noel is a must in every team to replace Zhongli's shield generation. So Albedo and Zhongli, so these two can cast elemental burst to clear waves, and then Hutao and Xingqiu will be in charge of dealing damage to bosses, or like be harder hitting targets itself. Zhongli will grant more survivability, and Albedo will generate, like, if like Zhongli's elemental skill is on cooldown and my shield has already burst, Albedo will be able to generate, because I'm consistently dealing Pyro and Geo together forms Crystallize. When you pick it up, you get shield, so you will be less interrupted from damage itself. So yeah, this is my ideal team combination. Yep. So let's calculate and see how do you know what things do you need for Hutao? Why HP is better, and why HP is better than attack percentage? So as what the description says, Hutao E skill cannot exceed 400 of the base attack. So base attack is basically base attack character plus weapon attack. So if I pull out Honey Impact, Hutao's base attack is 106, okay? And the 106, the other additional amounts are coming out from the weapon attack. So if I look at Staff of Homa, Staff of Homa's base attack will be 608. So 106 plus 608 gives you about 106 plus 7. So 714. Yeah, 608 and 106. 608 106. Yeah. So basically her Hutao EC cannot exceed 400% of base attack, which is 2.8k. I think I made an error there. But yes, base attack is basically plus weapon attack. So how do you calculate your damage from sources itself? So like this number here, how do you calculate that? So how do you calculate that is by using this calculation right here. Your attack buff will be all attack buff from your artifacts, all source of attack percentage. So in my case, I have 104%, and also flat attack. How much flat attack from they receive from your artifact. So flat attack includes the plume, which is your feather. Your feather counts as flat attack still. So you put that in, and you get the total base damage from total attack damage itself. So now we go into much more detailed calculation in terms of her HP calculation. So your base HP is 15.5k. If you look in Honey Impact and Z, it's 15,000. Okay. Your HP buff, that means all sorts of HP percentage. In my case, I have about a 200% HP increase because of the 40% from what's the thing called, 14% from my sense, and also my substats. I get about 190% because the 90 is from there, 100 is because I'm multiplying it, because I'm doing a multiplier for all of this. And a flat HP includes the one from the feather, from the flower, so 4,000 over. So yeah, this is the total HP that I have, 35,000. So this HP percentage also includes the HP percentage from Staff of Homa, so just to let you guys know. So that's how it works. So now what we're gonna do is, how do we calculate Hutao E skill multiplier? How do you know total damage bonus? What can you get? So the max I can get is 2.856. So my currently right now I'm doing total damage bonus about 2.9k. It gave me extra 2.9k in terms of damage when I use my E skill. Because my E multiplier takes about 5.9, this is about 6% from my total max health. So I'm gaining about 2,000 damage itself. So what you want, some people might ask, would it be better to do more pyro damage rather than what's that thing called, more pyro damage? Should I invest in pyro damage, or should I invest in HP percentage? So this is where it comes in. So it's always better to invest in pyro damage, because pyro damage is the last multiplier. So if I were to like increase let's say if I change it, okay, let's say I change it. If I want to put a HP goblet rather than a pyro goblet, so I will have 15% from the Crimson Witch. So if I put 115, actually I'll put this in here, yep. So the damage falls off, as you can see. So it's now at 4.3k, just now it's about 5.4k. So it's always better to have pyro damage inside here. So you just have to put in the details in here, and they automatically calculate for you, and you will know whether you're close to your damage buff, your max damage buff already. I'm still about like 700 away, so I think I can meet that by increasing my talent level. My talent level is actually quite high already, so yeah. Okay, this is your calculation. And also I also have like some theory crafting teams. I put the pros and cons in terms of like what would be the best team for you guys to put. Currently I'm playing would be the double GO team, which is the last one, the big guns I call them. So yeah. And artifacts, I also put in also the ranking, like just now what I explained to you guys, and also what's the reason why it would be better for them. So yeah. So that's about it for what I want to share for today. I hope you guys learn something from this, you know. So you learn something from this, and also like, you know, for those who are gonna be pulling for Hutao, all the best. You know, all the best for you. Good luck. And then I think she's worth to pull. She's doing a lot of damage, and she's really fun to play. Her playstyle is very risky, which is something that I like. Other than playing very safe, I've been playing very safe characters previously. So she's actually a very fresh character, I would say. So I would recommend you to pull for Hutao if you want. But you need to make sure that you have a very strong shield team, a very strong shield character for her, because she won't survive very long in the wild if you don't have anyone with a shield. So like people like Zoni will be the best itself. So this is just about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do let me know if there's anything that I can change. So I'm actually recording this live, but then if yeah, but those who are watching live now, so don't worry. For those who are okay, only. So for those who are like, how to say, those who are like watching it on YouTube, do let me know what are the things I can improve on. Am I speaking a bit too fast, or what are the things you want me to cover for this? Cause I'm mostly a Genshin streamer. I've been playing this game since day one already. So let me know what are the things you want to know more. I can make a video about it. But for Hutao itself, I think she definitely needs a video because she's one of my favorite characters. Like this is one of the waifus that I've been pulling for like husbandos for a while. So this is something that I want to pull for. This is something I want to invest on. So I'm definitely gonna be investing her. I'm thinking whether invest her to C3, whether would it break my bank, but I wouldn't know. But yes, I'll be looking for her to C1 because C1 I think is more than enough for her to do a lot of more damage on the field because of the charge attack thing. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do leave a like and comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Yeah. And I think I have a small giveaway for Discord, but you can always check out the Discord channel that we have. There's a small giveaway for 2 Lucky Moon passes. For the people who are so basically what you have to do is basically you go to Twitch, you follow me, and you go into Discord and you type in the question that I asked you inside Discord, and then you'll be then after I hit 100 followers on Twitch already, then I will start. Okay, Hutao. But yeah, anyways, yeah, if there's anything that you guys so back to what I was saying was basically there's a question needed to be answered inside Discord. So once I reach about 100 followers in Twitch, then we'll be rolling for who will be the winner for the 2 Lucky Moon passes. There'll be 2 winners. So yeah, hope you guys okay. Hope you guys doing fine, staying safe from COVID. So yeah, see you guys. Bye bye.